Hey guys, it's your girl Cassandra with Pecan Porch Boutique, and I have some more smalls for you. We're going to start out with these country cans, and my plan for these is to give them some molds, a little bit of color, and just kind of update them. So I have two, and I paid $3 for the pair. I'm starting out just by giving them some DIY Salvation Solution, which is a stain blocker and a primer. It comes both in white and clear. And then I'm going to add some molds because I love molds, y'all. And I'm going to finish off my DOS clay as well. So I'm starting here with the IOD Chanticleer mold. It's these really cute little roosters, and there's two of them, so you can face them in different directions. I'm going to give them a dusting of baking powder, and then I'm just going to add my clay in, pushing it in with my fingers and peeling it off with my thumb, and to get a really good clay casting. This mold is one of IOD's deeper molds. So they have come out with several molds that have this very deep setting to them, so that they're really thick and they really kind of give your piece a 3D effect. And so the Chanticleer mold is also one of those, and I kind of enjoy working with them. It really gives your furniture or your home decor a different look. So once I get my clay all packed in and smoothed out, I like to kind of flip my mold over and kind of rock it a little bit, just to let it kind of, just use gravity to let it fall out. And so next I'm going to be using IOD's Viridis mold. And it's these really pretty leaves. So I've already stuck my little rooster into a plastic bag just to kind of keep it soft until I get ready to put it on while I make these molds. And I'm just going to do the very same thing that I did with the Chanticleer mold. So once my castings are all done and I get them out of the mold, I'm going to be using Titebond Quick and Thick glue to adhere them to the cans. And I'm going to start out with the larger can first. And so I'm just going to take this mold, or these leaves from the Viridis mold, and I'm going to add them to the front. I'm also going to add them to the back. They will go, this particular mold will go on both cans, but the majority of them will go on this larger can. And so I'm just going to lay them down. And because this can is ribbed, I'm trying to really make sure that I touch my mold and just get it to adhere on the, the raised parts and also the lower parts of this particular can. But I want to do one on each side and make kind of a little crater in the middle for my rooster to sit in. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my rooster to the middle between this set of leaves here. And the Chanticleer mold has a really thick base kind of at the bottom. So, I guess I could have trimmed some of that off, but I went ahead and put it down, just as thick as it came. But what I did was I just took my fingers and I kind of pressed it down some into the leaves so that it didn't like stick out too far. Next up, I'll be using IOD's Blossom mold, and these molds, both the Blossom and the Chanticleer mold, is from the Spring 2025 release, I believe. Anyway, I found the Blossom mold to be a little bit tedious because it has such little dainty flowers and buds on it. But I did work with it, and again, just flipping my mold over, rocking it, and I did get it out. So now these are going to be going on the smaller can, and putting them on the front. I will be reusing that Viridis mold as well to add kind of around the back side of that smaller can too. But my goal here is to kind of make this particular country can look like a kind of a little woodsy area, of the yard or garden or whatever. So I'm coming in also with the Sparrow's Nest mold. I've never used this mold, y'all, and so I'm gonna be using this cute little nest. It's so cute with the little eggs in it and the leaves, and all the straw that birds use to make their nest with. And so I'm gonna put that right in between those two blossom molds that I added on the side. I really do love this mold, y'all. It is so detailed. I mean, the detail in these molds is just, it's top tier from IOD. But I'm also going to be casting one of the little sparrows as well. And it's kind of both of them, I believe, on this mold. There's one sitting, and then there's two in flight. And so I'm also going to be casting that to add to the smaller can. But now we're moving back to the larger can, and I'm using IOD's Bows mold. Again, this is another mold. I think it came out also spring 2025, but I've never used it. And so I'm just going to cast that, and I thought that maybe this larger can needed something at the top. And so I'm going to cast that particular mold from the Bows mold, and then also one of those little ribbons that run across it. This is a really cute mold. I mean, who knew? I had never used it. This is my first time. So I'm just going to get that on here and tap it down and make sure it's secure. Kind of trying to center it in the middle, just to give a little bit more detail to this can. Okay, so both cans now have all the molds that I'm going to add, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to cover everything up with DIY's crinoline. Crinoline is kind of a soft, creamy color, and so I'm just going to completely go over both cans and give crinoline to all the molds, getting in all of those little details, top and bottom, just to give the first base color. Once my crinoline is dry on both cans, I'm gonna do some aging. And I don't have any of the, I think a lot of people use glaze. I don't have any glaze, or at least I don't think I do. Child, I probably got some and don't know where it is. But anyway, I'm going to use DIY's liquid patina. This one is called Dark and Decrepit. And I'm using my French tip brush so that I can get down in all those little details, all the crevices and cracks. I'm just going to put my liquid patina on there, the Dark and Decrepit. I'm going to spritz it with water, and then I'm going to take my little wet wipe and I'm going to wipe it back. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I kind of get it, to the age that I think, or to the aging look that I think I want it to be. Once my aging is all dry, I kind of like to go back in with a dry brush of the original base color, which is crinoline, and that kind of hits the high points, and then it lets that aging look stay in deep into those crevices. So that's what I did once the aging dried. I went back in with a dry brush of crinoline, hit the high points, and you could then really see the detail of all that aging in the cracks and crevices. So once that is done, y'all, I'm done with these cans. I added a little bit of gypsy green around the top. I also added some of the trim from the primitive mold. So let's take a look back and a look forward. I think these really turned out so cute. I love them. They really did turn out great. Okay, we are moving on now to project number 2. I got these cute little elephants at the thrift shop. And I thought, oh, they are so cute. They're blue, but they're cute. And this is my first time, y'all, trying milk paint. I really rarely ever, no, not my first time. I did use it once before. This is Sweet Pickens milk paint. And I don't retail the milk paint. Actually, I don't retail any paint anymore. But I will drop a link to where I get it from. I get it from my friend Rachel from Stella Rose Mercantile. So I will drop that link if you're interested in using it. But milk paint is a powder paint. And it is mixed with a 2-to-1 ratio, which I like because it's so easy to follow. So I did 2 scoops. And the first one I'm using is called... this one is called Suitcase. It's kind of a dark brown color. So I mixed 2 scoops of the milk paint, 2 cups of water, and then I'm using this little, whatever this little mixer thing is, to mix it up. And once it's mixed up, you set it to the side so that it can kind of thicken up. But I mean, you know, you can just mix it with anything, a spoon, a little popsicle stick, whatever you got. But milk paint does go on thinner. So I think with these little elephants, I think I did 3 coats of the milk paint. And so here I am now just starting to paint them up. And you can see that it's kind of going on really thin. And you want to sit it to the side. I said sit it to the side, but I didn't say how long. So probably for about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. It'll get kind of frothy and you'll know that it's ready to use at that point. And I forgot to say the price. I paid $10 for this pair of elephants, which I thought was kind of maybe a little too much, but I don't know. I wanted them. I thought they were cute, so here they are, and here we are upcycling them. Another thing about milk paint is that it keeps really well in the packages that they come in, but it does not keep once you mix it up. So you only want to mix up as much as you're going to use, because otherwise it doesn't keep. And you're going to see what I mean by that a little bit later on in the video. Now, the best part, or maybe the worst part, depending on what type of crafter you are, is that milk paint is extremely unpredictable. It will crack, it will flake, it will crackle whenever it wants to. It just does its own thing, y'all. Anyway, I am trying to get some crackle now, and so I pulled out my heat gun, and I am trying to force some crackle. And a lot of times you can do that and get some crackle. If you don't want any of that to happen, you can purchase some extra bond to add to your milk paint to stop that crackling, chipping effect. But I tend to like that. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to pull out my Lost Garden transfer. That is also one of the spring 2025 IOD transfers. And y'all, it is just full of stuff. Look at all these little flowers, and it's so cut upable. Is that a word? Cut upable? Anyway, you can really cut these off into little pieces and put them on little small things. So that is one of the good things about this particular transfer. And that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I am doing right now. You see me doing. I'm just going to cut off little various pieces of this transfer, and I'm going to be adding them to my elephants. So with milk paint, it is suggested that you use either a solid wax or an oil wax, not a liquid top coat. So I am going to be I'm going to be applying my transfers first, because you can't apply transfers over wax. So all of the projects that I'm using the milk paint on, I will be applying my transfers, if I'm using transfers, to that before I seal with either a solid wax or an oil wax. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to start adding my little Lost Garden transfers to my elephants. And I'm finding that the transfers are actually going on really well, even though I didn't seal first. And that's typically my process. I always seal before transfers. But again, you can't apply transfers to a waxed surface. So because I'm going to be using wax, I can't seal first. Other than the fact that these little flowers are a bit tedious, because they have all of this little, these little space to them. There's not much space to them, but all of these just little pieces that go with them. So I'm kind of having to be careful to make sure that I get every little piece of every little flower and stem. But other than that, they are really going on to the milk paint. Even though it hasn't been sealed yet, they're going on really well. Okay, so both my little elephants now have gotten their Lost Garden transfers adhered to them. And now I'm going to come in with Sweet Pickens oil wax. And this is just in the original color. It does come in, I think, dark. You can get it in dark, and you can also maybe even get it in white. I'm not sure. But this is just the original clear color. And I'm just going to be adding that on now on top of my transfers. And then I'm just going to be wiping it back. And y'all, I know I'm using a paper towel, and I should not be using a paper towel, but I am out of shop towels. So the paper towel is going to have to do. You really want to use something that's lint free. Fortunately, these are pretty good paper towels, and they're not leaving a lot of, little crumbs behind. So I'm just going to go over all of my elephant with this oil wax, and you can see how pretty and shiny it's getting. I did go in and give his little lip a pink color, and also trimmed around his eye and his ears in like a black, just so they would stand out. Now here's a quick side by side of what it looks like with one waxed and one not waxed. And then y'all, let's take a look back and a look forward. Oh, I just love these two little elephants. Look how cute they turned out, y'all. I really do think that these really turned out really pretty. Maybe they were worth the $10 after all. Let's move on, y'all. Project number 3. I'm trying to knock these smalls out, y'all. Or at least I think I am. I bought these two little jugs from a garage sale, and I paid $2 each for them. I thought they were so cute, kind of fat-bellied little jugs. I don't know what they were for originally. Anyway, we're still on the milk paint road here. And so I'm going to be using Sweet Pickens milk paint now in Love Bug, which is kind of this creamy color. And again, milk paint is 2 parts powder to 2 parts water. I'm just going to mix it up, and I'm going to get it on these little jugs. That's where we're going to start at. about 10 minutes, I go back and pick up the milk paint. You can see it's kind of frothy now. I give it another good stir, and then I'm just going to start to get it onto my jug. I think with these, I did 2 coats. I didn't really want it to be completely covered. I kind of wanted some of that terracotta to stay there, but I did 2 coats, and then I came back with just kind of a fine-tooth sanding, a little bit of a sanding, and I took back some of it just so some of that terracotta could come back through. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just giving it the first coat. I'll let it dry, and then I'll come back and I'll do a second coat. My next step is I am going to be using IOD's crockery stamp. And this is an older stamp. It's been around for a long time. It has all these really neat jar labels, maybe that you would find back in the day. But I'm going to be making them out of clay. So I'm just going to be doing an impression into clay. So here I am flattening out my clay. I'm just going to roll it out. I have some baking powder down on my parchment paper so it won't stick. And then I'm going to take 2 of the labels that I picked out from that stamp, and I'm just going to make that impression into the clay. And then I'll take my little razor blade and I'll trim that out. And then I will use my Tide Bond Quick and Thick to glue them onto my little jugs. And this is a really cute project, and I've seen other people do it, but I'd never done it before. But I do think that I made my little labels too thick. But I don't know. In the end, they worked out. So I pushed down around the label, all around, all over it with my fingers first, just so I could get it really down into that clay to make a good impression. And then I just took my roller and kind of went over the top of the stamp while it was still in the clay, just to kind of level it out some. Okay, so my castings are nice and dry. They have sit overnight. And now I'm just going to come in with some DIY clear wax and some dark wax. And remember, with milk paint, it is recommended that you either use a solid wax, like I'm using here, or you use an oil wax, because the liquid top coats may reactivate the paint. So I'm coming in first with clear wax, and then I'm going to come over the top of that with dark wax. And the clear wax really helps you to be able to control the dark wax so that you can take back as much as you want. It kind of acts as an eraser. And I can go back and forth with my clear and dark wax, like I mentioned. And once I'm done aging it to my liking, we can take a look back and we can take a look forward. I think these turned out really cute. I'll be doing this project again. All right, let's move along now. This is project number 4. And I found these cute little wood leaf cutouts at a garage sale, and I paid 50 cents for both of them. And remember what I said a while back about only mixing up enough milk paint for you to use, that you're going to use on that project? Well, child, I got carried away with the love bug. So the inside of these little leaf trays or little leaf bowls are going to get love bug too. So I'm just going to paint up the insides. I am going to go back to my Lost Garden transfer, and I'm going to add a few transfers in. I did have to do 2 coats on the inside of these leaves though. And I didn't get any chipping, not much at all. I didn't get any crackle, but oh well, that's okay. But I did go back to my Lost Garden transfer, and I added some transfers once it was dry into the insides of these. And then I added, because y'all know I can't do without gold, and I added a little gold to the rim, and these were finished after I sealed them off with some clear wax from Sweet Pickens, clear oil wax. These were very simple, and sometimes it's just the simple little things that can turn out to be so cute. So once I got all of my little transfers in, I was done with these after I sealed them off. I was done, and it only took a minute. So let's take a quick look back, and then we'll take a quick look forward. I thought these were so cute, very cute. I love the highlight of the love bug on the inside. All right, y'all, we're still moving. Project number 5. I found this little, I think it's a little like pot, for you to sit your pots on. It's made like I don't know if this is a sheep or a cow. I'm going to call it a cow because I'm not sure. That's just what I choose. I'm going to choose cow. So again, don't mix up more of your milk paint than you can use. I'm still love bugging. So this is going to get 2 coats of love bug as well, Sweet Pickens milk paint. And on this one, y'all, to show you how unpredictable milk paint is, which I like the unpredictability, I got a lot of chipping on this particular piece. So I'm doing 2 coats, and then I'm going to kind of use my hair dryer to kind of force some chipping. And you got to be careful what you ask for. So I start out just by, once it's dry, using my fingers to take off some of the flakes. And what I couldn't get with my fingers, I pulled out a little soft, kind of semi-soft bristle brush to take the rest of it off. So I should have been a lot more careful about the amount of milk paint that I was mixing up, but that's why I had to keep using it. Oh, and I only paid $1 for my little cow sheep thing. It has a $5 tag on it, which looks like a dollar store tag. So at some point it probably originated from the dollar store. So here I am, y'all. This transfer is from the Botanist Journal transfer. And this is an older transfer with IOD, but I love this transfer. It has such deep colors in the flowers, and it really is a really pretty transfer. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to place it on the front of my cow, and I am going to then flip it over, and I'm going to trace him out so that I can cut him out, and then I'll have a perfect little cow-shaped transfer to transfer on. And again, because everything pretty much every project that I did in this video got wax, I am transferring all of my transfers on before I wax, because I'm either going to be using the Sweet Pickens oil wax or I am going to be using the solid wax by DIY. So once I get my cow all cut out in the transfer shape, I can now add him to the board, and he fits pretty good. So I'm just going to peel back a little bit of my transfer at a time. That'll keep it from sticking before I actually start to press it down. And once I'm done, I seal them all up with some Sweet Pickens oil, original, and look back and look forward and look at him. Look at this garden cow. I love him, y'all. All right, y'all, it's time to bring this to an end. So for my 6th and final project, I bought this little riser from a garage sale, and I paid $1 for it. And now I'm going to be using Sweet Pickens milk paint in sweet potato. And you can look at this beautiful orange color and tell that it definitely looks like sweet potato. So I'm going to give this little riser 2 coats. I am going to be putting another transfer on from the Botanist Journal transfer. And then I'm going to be sealing it up as well with the Sweet Pickens original oil wax. And so I didn't get much crackle or chipping on this one either, but I enjoyed it. This was fun. All right, y'all, this is about to come to an end. I really appreciate all of your support for my channel. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your thumbs ups, and I really would appreciate if you were to subscribe to my channel. If you like any of these projects, and if you want to get some of the things that you saw me use, you can find them on my website at www.pecanporchboutique.com. This sunflower from the Botanist Journal transfer fit pretty good. I'm just going to cut off a couple of the little leaf stems, and I am going to replace them once I get my sunflower adhered down to my riser. I'll put them back in different places so that they'll be more readily seen. And now we can take a quick look back at what this little $1 riser looked like before and after. And I got that little fork and spoon too, y'all, for 50 cents for the pair. Thanks again, y'all, so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Always appreciate your support. Please subscribe to my channel and share if you think someone else may like it. I'm going to leave you with a little video of all the things we did in this video today. Thanks again. Until we meet next time, don't forget to bud, bloom, and be unique. Bye-bye.